Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here on DinamoTV, the official podcast of St Albans Dinamo Football Club. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and I will be your host over the next hour or so. And, today's show, big show. It's our 20th episode this year. Can't believe it, how quickly it's flying by. But all in all, it's our 58th episode in total. And on our episode tonight, we're going to be speaking with the Dinamo Girls Under-9s coach, FRANKIE IVKOVIC. The Dinamo Girls had a great experience, an awesome experience last Friday night at the Matildas game at Marvel Stadium. He'll be talking to us about that. He'll be also talking about the Girls Under-9s and overall girls football at Dinamo. We'll also be hearing from, speaking of the females, we'll be hearing from the senior women's coach, and he's the assistant men's coach, TOM PONDELJAK. The senior women's had a great win on the weekend, 3-0 over Altona East, and our cameras caught up with Tom straight after the game. And we're also catching up with the men's under-19s head coach, Ian Burke, who we're getting him on the show to talk about something else, a passion of his, he's probably the biggest Oldham Athletic supporter outside of Oldham itself. And he'll tell us a little bit about his journey, how he arrived at Dinamo from England and the town of Oldham. And the reason, because last weekend, Oldham Athletic, one of the founders of the English Premier League, after a little bit of 3 years, in fact, of hiatus in the non-professional leagues, they've made a triumphant return back to the English professional leagues. So we'll be catching up with Burke a little bit later on in the show. Folks, that plus a lot more as well for tonight's show. So stay tuned. We're going to take a short break from our major sponsor, I&D Group, and then after that, it's time for the news group.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to DinamoTV. It is time for the news desk. I think I said news group in the intro. Slip of the tongue. All right, let's turn our attention first of all to the senior men's NPL team. And last Friday night, it was all the roads led to Olympic Village in Heidelberg, where our boys took on Heidelberg United. Here are some of the highlights, courtesy of NPL Victoria's YouTube channel.
Black and yellow strips, St Albans playing in their white. It'll be interesting to see how they go this afternoon or this evening. Referee is Prakansav Sharishta, so I'm sure he'll be hoping for an easy game this evening, but anything can happen. Lockley, who's your tip for tonight?
Look, obviously the ladder shows it one way. Heidelberg is sitting up top, but we know that it's all about the quality of the cross, isn't it? And we think about the way that Heidelberg love to hold the ball as they do, and we're seeing right now. You can't help but think that St Albans aren't going to get too many of those opportunities. So when it counts, the ball is key.
Nothing really on in front of Heidelberg. They turn it over now. It's a chance. Going forward, Dragicevic just slides it through. Cross comes in. It's gone in. Through a sea of legs. And it's Dinamo who get us underway here. Talk us through it there, Lockie.
Talking about key moments. The number 10 in midfield for St Albans, Oliver Jasigovic.
Not happy. He's given out a yellow card to Souza, so that puts Souza on the back foot now. He's got to think about how he approaches the game, so that's something that St Albans need to take advantage of and put the pressure on. It's cleared by Collins, but Mills wins it back. Galevsky now going forward, tries to slide it through. They go wide again. Monet can open it up here. Plays it back in on the edge of the box. The shot comes in, takes a deflection. It's 2! Would you believe it? It is 2-0 to Dinamo. Unbelievable scenes here at Olympic Village.
Well, football doesn't care who's on top of the ladder, Alex, and football doesn't care who's in the relegation zone. You get the feeling they just need to calm themselves down a little bit, Heidelberg. They can't afford to get sucked in to dealing with the referee. They've got to put 2 goals on the board.
Good ball over the top here. Ngor cuts back in on his left. His shot comes in. And Sabit Ngor gets one back for Heidelberg.
And there you go. An individual stepping up in a moment.
We've got 10 minutes left to go, plus stoppage time. Dinamo will look to stop-start here. Just frustrate Heidelberg. Heidelberg need to go forward at every chance they get. Good run here now. They push it wide. Looking to play it down the line. Cross comes in. Shot comes in, and there it is. It's a beautiful finish in the end. And the Burgers get their second goal.
Well, Markovic immediately making amends for what could have been the goal that sent Heidelberg packing and giving...
Plenty of white shirts around. They just need to clear it. Desperate defending. It comes out for Bassotto. Squares it. Shot comes in. Cleared by Dinamo.
That's it.
The full-time whistle sounds at Olympic Village. And it ends in a stalemate, 2-2, after Dinamo got off to a flyer, scoring the first 2 goals. And
well done to the boys. Drawing against the top team, taking a point away from Olympic Village, a remarkable result. But no doubt Cameron Watson, the coach, and the boys will be kicking themselves that they did let a 2-0 goal slip. Let's have a look at the other results in round 16. Obviously, our game kicked off the round with a 2-2 draw there against Heidelberg away. Dandy Thunder defeated Dandenong City in the Battle of the Dandenongs, 2-1. It was a 4-1 win there for Oakley over Port Melbourne. Hume City defeated Green Gully 3-2. Avondale, in the end, destroyed the Melbourne Knights 5-1 after the Knights were leading 1-0 at one stage. Altona Magic and Preston Lions did battle in the Macedonian derby, and it was Preston Lions that prevailed in the end 2-0. And importantly for us, I guess, South Melbourne defeated Melbourne Victory 4-2. And what that meant was basically we were able to jump into 11th spot. But now we're on the same amount of points as Victory, just 2 points ahead of Port Melbourne and 3 points ahead of bottom side Melbourne Knights. But we're now 3 points adrift of South Melbourne, who we play this weekend, this Friday night, in fact, at home. Now, this is a 6-pointer, folks, a absolute must-attend game. This is so important. This Friday night, it says 7:30, in fact, 8:30 p.m. kickoff. Apologise for that. The under-23s kick off at 6:15, and that's on Friday night. So apologies for the graphics there. But yeah, it's This Friday night, the under-23s play 6:15. The under-19s play 6:15 on pitch 2. And the main team is at 8:30. Very, very important game, that one. And let's go back to that ladder. And if we have a look at that, if we beat South Melbourne, we will jump into 10th spot by virtue of a better goal difference. And it is a must-win game this Friday night. Absolute must-win game. So we cannot afford to lose this game. But back onto the Heidelberg game. One performance, earned a Team of the Week selection, and here are some of the highlights from that game.
See Marco Bullic, he's been doing his homework, he's been watching the highlights, he was aware to what was going on.
Corner comes in near post. It's flicked on. Straight at Bullic there again. Well, half an hour left to go. Here's it down. It's kept in by Dow. Squares in on edge of the box. Yokokawa shoots. Good save. The follow-up. Good block by Mills. And what a save by Bullic there.
It's his first game of the season for St Albans. He's come in under a real barrage from Heidelberg, especially in this second half. He's made a...
Yes, Marko Bullic starting off in his first game this season. He earned himself a NPL Team of the Week selection. So congratulations to Marko. Well done there. Alrighty, let's have a look at the weekend wrap-up. So obviously we know the score there with the seniors. The under-23s, unfortunately, they lost 2-3. And Marko Juric, the team captain, scoring both those goals for Dinamo. The under-19s lost 1-2 with Andrej Mihocic scoring the 19s only goals. So apart from the seniors getting a point, it was 2 losses for the under-23s and the under-19s. The senior women, they did very well. A 3-0 win over Altona East. Jana Cholina scoring a goal. So did Sienna Delia, as well as an own goal. In the junior boys NPL, the under-17s recorded a win, 2-1 win over Brunswick Juventus. Stephen Reicher and Daniel Reicher getting amongst the goals for the 17s. The under-16s, they lost to Brunswick Juventus 1-3 with Alexander Serra scoring the only goal. The under-15s, they lost to the Brimbank Stallions 1-5. Dante Casalo scoring the only goal for the Dinamo against the Stallions. And in the under-14s, it was also a loss to Brimbank Stallions, 1-2, with James Papic scoring the only goal there. So if we look at the ladder for the under-23s and the under-19s after 16 rounds, the under-23s are in 7th position, so mid-table, and the under-19s are currently in 5th position, despite losing on the weekend. As we said, the women on the weekend, they defeated Altona East 3-0. And as a result, they move into outright 2nd position on the ladder. 4 wins and 1 loss from their 5 games this season. And the 1 loss coming against the Uni Hill Eagles, who have not dropped a point all season so far. After the win over the Altona East Phoenix last Thursday night, our DinamoTV cameras caught up with coach Tom Pondeljak, and this is what he had to say.
Tommy, 3-0, got the victory. What do you think?
Yeah, look, obviously got the 3-0 win. 3 points on the board, which was obviously the main thing for us. But yeah, look, all in all, we weren't sure what to expect from East Altona. But look, they put up a good fight. To be fair, our girls are probably a little bit off today in front of goal. We probably should have scored a fair few more. And the longer the game went on and not scoring goals, it just made it a little bit harder. But you know, in the end, we obviously had the quality to get a couple of goals there in the second half. So yeah, all in all. Performance wasn't the best, but got the 3 points, so that's the main part.
And you had a chance to put on a few extra players tonight?
Yeah, look, I mean, I was hoping to do a little bit earlier doors. we obviously had a handful of chances in that first half, and it would have been nice to be, 3 odd or 4-0 up in the first, but had to keep it late in the second half, and then obviously we want to give the girls, as many girls, as a bit of a run as possible. So ended up doing that in the end. All the girls got a run tonight, which was great. And yeah, back into training and on to next week.
Well done, mate. Good luck.
And a big thank you to Nick Delia, who's the team manager there at the Senior Women's, and he was the one that conducted that interview with Tom Pondeljak, and does a damn good job, Nick does, that's for sure. All right, moving along. That was the we'll have a look at the ladder again after that 3-0 win. As you can see, the women are in second position there. And this week they come up against 7th place Pascoe Vale on Sunday at Hoskins Reserve. Remember, Monday is a holiday. It is a little bit of a later kickoff, 5:15 p.m. kickoff. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday afternoon / evening, get down to Hoskins Reserve and watch the senior women's girls in action. Back to the junior boys NPL, and there's an expression of interest that is open now with Dinamo opening a trial period for a goalkeeper born in 2008 or 2009 to join our junior boys NPL program due to internal player promotions. And you can see all the details there. Please complete the jot form, and the details are there on your screen. https://forward/forward/form.jotform.com/2410-722-636-03-851. If that was a little bit too quick for you, just go back in our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and you can watch the replay of this particular call out, advertisement, notice, or bavierst, however you want to call it. Okay, and finally, last Friday at the Matildas game, there was 43,000 people in attendance at Marvel Stadium to watch the Matildas do battle against Argentina. And there were some of our club's finest, the girls there, and they were involved in a walk-around parade, which our next guest after this short break will tell us all about that. Frankie Ivkovic will be coming on after this short break to talk to us and tell us all about the activation, the involvement that our girls were involved in prior to the Matildas game at Marvel Stadium. Don't go away, folks. It's DinamoTV that you are watching. And welcome back to DinamoTV. Last Friday night at Marvel Stadium, there was something like 43,000 people came to watch the Matildas in action against Argentina. The Matildas won 2-0, and amongst those 43,000, we had a fair contingent of our Dinamo Junior Girls that turned up on the night and to tell us all about, and they managed to also have a little bit of a walk on the pitch before the game as part of a special parade to tell us a little bit more about what went on. The coach of the Dinamo Girls Under-9s team, Frankie Ivkovic. Frankie, good evening and very, very warm welcome to DinamoTV. How are you?
I'm good. Touch yourself, buddy.
Very good, mate. Very good. A pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. Before we get into what happened last Monday or Friday night, and such a memorable time, but you've been involved with the junior girls coaching the under-9s this year. First of all, how are you guys going? The season's just started, but how's your team going?
Yeah, look, we've only lost one game. That was a cup game. So the season started, we haven't lost a game. We drew one last week. The girls made their match against Sunbury United. So it was a 1-1 draw, and we're going pretty well.
Now, you've coached this group for a couple of years, so you've sort of seen them basically kicking their first ball, kicking the soccer ball for the first time, and now it's kind of under-9s. They start to show what they're capable of, and obviously this team's very capable of. So the future of Dinamo is in good hands. That's for sure. But how have you seen that journey over the last few years with your team?
Look, I started last year coaching the under-8 girls.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say there was only a handful of girls that kicked the ball.
Yep.
It was a challenging year last year. And coming into this year was pretty good because I got a good crew with me. I got Neda Rados as my team manager and Matt Sakic as my assistant coach, and he's really helped me and guided me through and all that.
Matt is like Eddie Maguire. He seems to be everywhere at the club, doesn't he?
That's exactly right. But no, look, the girls are gelling pretty well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more about seeing the girls' friendship bond. Yeah. Like when the girls play, senior girls play, the girls are there, and the senior men, the girls are still there, and see them after training, running around Dinamo and all that. And I mean, soccer is fun, but at the same time, getting the community together, is a big part. So seeing that it's a really bonus for me.
Yeah, once upon a time, like our Croatian clubs, the way they used to attract females to the club and get involved was through Miss Croatias. And if you talk to someone like Rosie Marmic, she'll always remind you about how she was Miss Dinamo.
Yeah, Miss Dinamo, that's
but
right.
These days now, it's with the girls' football, and it's just great because now we're getting so many young girls. As you said, they're not just playing at the club, but they're involved. They're watching the senior women's. They're watching the senior men's. They feel like they genuinely are part of the club and not just there to work in the kitchen or whatever the case may be. Must be pretty awesome you being directly involved in that and just seeing some of these girls just show so much pride for the Plavi.
Yeah, look, I mean, like even my class tonight, I cancelled training because of the wet weather and all that. I told my little one, she was nearly in tears. Yeah. I'm going to see my friends, so okay, you'll be right. So, no, I mean, the girls love it. I love it too. It is challenging with little girls.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and turn around and scream inside. But no, overall, look, I love it, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. As we said, we spoke to a few of the senior women throughout the year, and a lot of them have said that they started off with the Marley Plavi, and now we've got the mini Tillies as well, and that's just doing absolutely great guns. And there's a real pathway that's happening, and hopefully in years to come, our senior women's team will get promoted, to VPL, maybe NPLW, etc., etc. We'll have multiple teams. We're not just one senior team, but look, I guess until then, we've got a whole army of girls that are representing the club. And last Friday night at the Matildas game, and there's some photos there that we've got that some of that they've been supplied by Natalie Matrevsky. So big thanks to Natalie for supplying some of these photos. But tell us what went down at Marvel Stadium, obviously at the Matildas game.
Yeah, so the girls got apparently they've got organised by Susie Illich and Lucia Herbelich for about 27 girls from under 8s to under 11s, and we met up at Amy's Stadium or Marvel Stadium, I should say, and the girls went around and walked pretty much half a lap, whatnot. So, and after that, they were just sitting down, and I'm not going to lie to you, Tonch, I was watching Dinamo U9s, watching the seniors. It was more important to me than watching the Matildas, I can tell you that now.
Yeah, and what a game that was, by the way.
Actually, it was. Yeah. So
don't worry, you're not the only one. My daughter, who on a Friday plays basketball, is this bad? I didn't know what the hell was going on the basketball court. I was just watching the game on YouTube.
Yeah. So after 20 minutes, it was a great start.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, look back to the girls at Marvel. They really enjoyed it. They're all together, sitting down, having a good time, and then after the game, they were getting jerseys signed and all that. So, and then there was a handful of us that we caught the train back down to Water Gardens together, and it was a really enjoyable night.
Yeah.
The girls being together, parents we all grew up together, the parents as well. So it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, thanks to Natalie Matrevsky, who we tried to get on the show, by the way, but so she was a bit reluctant. And that's the one thing we got to work at Dinamo. Too many of our ladies, whether it be the volunteers, whether it be the coaches, some of our players are absolutely fantastic. I'll give a shout out to some of the players. But a lot are reluctant to step in front of the camera. But, look at yourself, look at myself. We've just got a face for radio, haven't we? We still get on there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Natalie Matrevsky, her daughter plays with my team, Olivia. And, she's more media. She always does the recording and takes the goals and all that. So she does a great job there as well.
Yeah. All jokes aside, they do an absolute fantastic job. And speaking of Natalie, she supplied us with some of the footage. Here's some of the footage from last Friday night at Marvel Stadium.
Smile, girls! Smile,
How good is that? Now, what an experience, as you said, and that's really captured through the lens of the camera. That just shows just what sort of an awesome experience they had. Hey,
yeah, it was a beautiful experience. I mean, the girls loved it. Yeah, they said stars from the Matildas and all that, and they really enjoyed it. Like my little one, she fell asleep pretty much as soon as we got home. She was knocked out. That's how much she was tired and all that. But like I said before, Tonch, coaching the girls, it's good, but seeing that at Marvel Stadium, singing the Dinamo song and all that, that's what it's all about, to me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Now it's great to see that, and hopefully we've got some young ladies there that are going to be absolute Dinamovke right up until they play senior football and beyond. Hopefully we might even see a Matilda or two uncovered there. But getting back to the coaching, and it's quite interesting because you've been around the club, you've been around, supporting all the Croatian clubs. I see you regularly everywhere. Frankie, tell me, do you approach coaching girls differently than you would, say, boys, or how do you kind of approach it? Do you have to sort of, as you said, you kind of swear on the inside or yell on the inside, but do you have to kind of, what's your strategy there?
Oh, look, Touch, I'm not going to lie to you. I do swear. I know I shouldn't swear, but the girls, they giggle.
As long as it's in Croatian, it's not a swear word. If you have a little mish or something at the end of it, huh?
Yeah, both. I mean, look, we do have fun. Like last year was a big learning curve for me because it was my first year, and I had Jay Paulus as my assistant coach last year, so it was a learning curve for both of us.
Yeah.
And this year, being our second year, the girls knew what was not expected, but they knew how to kick a ball and all that. Yeah. So we just still have fun, and we do drills and all that. So like I said, Matt Sakic helps me a lot.
Yep.
There's some drills where, and then work on that, like doing shapes and all that sort of stuff. So come game day, yeah, we are, you know, being young girls, they're not going to click straight away.
Yeah.
But we do, you know, but the girls are getting really good. Like I said, times we haven't lost a game since the season started. But yeah, and they really enjoy it, you know. Being different to coach, I haven't coached boys, but as soon as you see a girl, like, you know, you can see when they're down and all that. So you got to, it's not like a boy toughen up a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot more emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. So, and saying that, I've got a bunch of great parents, you know. We all get along. The girls, you know, they respect me and Matt, and I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Now, I think over the years, I've spoken to a lot of different coaches, and I love asking that question. And you get some of the coaches that say, oh, no, it's all the same, boys, girls. But a lot of them, the ones that are in the know, they say, no, you do have to approach it differently. And there's two fundamentally big differences. One, I guess when you're coaching girls, you have to come from a lot more of an emotional side of things, and you have to really explain. If you want them to do this, you have to explain to them why.
Yeah,
because whereas the boys kind of just get it, but the girls really want to know why. Why do you want to play the ball down the side, down the flank?
Yes.
And the other thing is, which is an interesting one, the biggest difference, what I've seen or heard from coaches over the years, coaching boys and coaching girls, is the girls listen.
Well, what they do to a certain point, till, you know, even me, or, you know, like I said again, Matt will say hands on heads, and they put the hands on heads like that, and they do listen. I mean,
because the boys think they know.
yeah, that's right. I mean, end of the day, Tonch still 8 years old,
of course,
you know, turning 9 and all that.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, it is a bit easier because I've got my own daughter. Yeah, she plays in my team as well, Lily. So in that, like in that sense, I mean, it's easy coaching the girls. Yeah. Like if I do something wrong, she'll go, Tata, you need to chill, or Tata, you need to do this, or So no, I mean, look, end of the day, times like I said before, I love it, and if I can take them all the way till seniors or wherever, I'll be at the club, supporting the club and all that sort of stuff.
I don't coach my little boy anymore, but the days when I used to coach, you know, juniors, and used to have all the dads there coaching. All you hear, you know, there's 6, 7 teams all next to each other, and you just hear this Tata, Tata, Tata. You're just turning around. Is that my son calling me, or it's on the other field, you know?
Yeah, like even like in my girls, you know, if we're playing, and I've got, I think there's 2 Olivias, 3 Lanas, and I go, Lana, and they all 3 of them look at me. I go, oh, sorry, that one. So it's a bit challenging, but you get, you know, end of the day, it's still fun. And I mean, and even as well when we win, you know, seeing the girls sing the Dinamo song and all that.
How good is that?
It's I love it.
Yeah.
I love it,
Mate, well, we've had a lot of fun having a chat. Love having a chat with you, Frankie. And we go a long, long way back. And every time we see each other, we always have a good laugh and what, you know. But it's so reassuring to know that Dinamo has got great patient coaches like yourself and like Matt and some of the other coaches as well involved. And it's great to see. Keep up the great work, and look forward to hearing some good things from the Dinamo Girls Under-9s teams this year.
No worries. Thanks to have them, Tunch.
Good on you. Frankie Ivkovic, the coach of the Dinamo Girls Under-9s team. We're going to come back after this short break, and we're going to continue with tonight's episode of DinamoTV. Folks, don't go away.
Westar Prestige is a proud family-owned second-generation business servicing Victorian motorists for more than 50 years. We are a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne. However, we service all regions of Victoria, with many of our clients travelling not only from around Melbourne, but all of Victoria to use our services. We are also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend our premises. We are an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facility for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of our ongoing affiliation with these brands. We also work closely with several of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust us to be a part of their preferred repairer network. Our client support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing, Australian-owned business.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and our next guest this is a great story, it really is, and I guess it shows the diversity at this club, and particularly if we're talking about, say, the English scene and English football, you get your normal run-of-the-mill Manchester United supporters, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, whatever the case may be. You get those, but often you get these supporters that they have these. I guess we won't call them weird clubs, but sometimes relatively unknown clubs. And one of our very, very own, is one of the biggest supporters you could possibly think of. A little club called Oldham Athletic, but in his eyes, this club is not little; it is the biggest club in the world. And I can relate to this, especially if you follow the Croatian league. For us, the Croatian league is the biggest league in the world, even though it doesn't mean much. But Ian Burke, our coach of the under-19s, there's with his son. He's the brainwashing has already started, and according to Burke, his poor son has got absolutely no choice. So to tell us all about that, Burke, welcome back to DinamoTV. We just had to get you on the show because Oldham Athletic, they're back in the English league, in the English professional league. Mate, tell us all about it.
Yeah, it was a stressful night, Sunday night. So Lucas and myself. So Lucas obviously plays in our under-15s as well at Dinamo.
Yep.
We got up at midnight and watched it. They went 1-0 down, got back to 1-1, had chances, should have had a penalty. Then went 2-1 down at the start of extra time, and then looked looked absolutely gone. And then keeper pulled off a great save to stop it going to 3-1. And then they snuck 2 goals in at the end, and the rest is history. And we're back where I'd like to think we will belong.
Now, always be careful, folks, of what you post up on social media because it can come back to haunt you one day. Burke, these are some of your posts in recent days, and there's a lovely one there where he says, "Anyone who knows me knows of my love for this club since I was 5 years old. I went to my first game. There's been some highs, there've been some dark lows." But it's one of those fairy tale things where we hear about Wrexham, for example, the Welsh club that are making great strides. We talk about I guess this is another one, for example, and back in the professional ranks of English football. But mate, let's talk a little bit about your heritage because you've got some direct links with Oldham Athletic. What are they? Tell us.
Yeah, so the hospital's right across the road from the ground.
There you go. Yeah.
I was born in the hospital on a Wednesday afternoon, I think, and they were playing that night.
Yeah.
So some might say it was fate, but then my granddad and my uncles took me when I was 5 to my first game, and the rest was history. Like I think from about the age of 9 or 10, I was a ball boy first of all in the reserves on a Tuesday night, which is. So the ground's nicknamed around being Ice Station Zebra because it's so cold on it, and especially at night. It's right up on the hills of the north of England. So doing a Tuesday night stint for a season as reserve ball boy was pretty fresh. And then I was a ball boy for the first team. Did that for a number of years. Remember a game we had an FA Cup game against Spurs. So Spurs came, they had Chris Waddle, Ozzy Ardiles, Clive Allen, like they had some big names. So days like that were great to be a ball boy, looking up to some of your heroes. Then I progressed, and the last season I was there, I worked on the players' car park. So I got to greet all the players as they came on the car park. And so again, big thrill when you're sort of 14, 15 years of age. Saw them play at Wembley in 1990 when they made the League Cup final. Unfortunately, lost to Nottingham Forest. Who were managed by Brian Clough at the time. And then we migrated to Australia. And the year that we migrated was when Oldham got promotion. Last kick of the season, they won the league against Sheffield Wednesday. And so they were founder members of the Premier League in the early 90s. Stayed there for 3 years, had a great escape 1 year, but then dropped down to the Championship for a few years. and then had about 25 years in League One, then down to League Two, and then out of so this is our third season in the National League. So good to get back up.
Great, well, with one say it's a rags to riches story, but it's sort of a riches to rags back to riches story.
And I got the scarf here too, Tonchi.
There you go, fantastic. And mind you, when we're recording this, you're at work as well, so you've got some great bosses allowing you to do that. That's for sure. But so how old were you when you came to Australia?
So I was 15, just about to turn 16.
Yeah. All right, now I've got to ask this question because I've got a lot of Pommy friends and some that have been here for quite a long time, 50, 60 years. A Pom never loses his accent. What happened to you? You've lost that accent.
Yeah, there's the odd words here and there. I'll say something and someone will look at me sort of a bit strange and go, what are you talking about? But for the most part, I think maybe the age when I came, because I was only 15, very impressionable. Both myself and my brother lost our accents pretty much. Mum and Dad kept it a little bit, not too much. But every now and again, you'll hear me on if we're on, say, a video call to back home to the cousins or whatever, the voice, I think, slips back in. They will still tell you that it sounds very Aussie.
Now, as we showed everyone that photo before, you and your son Lucas there. As you mentioned, Lucas plays in the under-15 junior boys NPL team here at Dinamo. And you said he had no choice. What do they say? The fruit doesn't fall far from the trees. But when it comes to football, let's face it, we all instill our love for our clubs into our sons, and that's how we pass it on, don't we?
Yeah, correct. And so, he's been getting kits since he was a baby. Last time we went over there 6 years ago, so he was a mascot, so you get to run out on the pitch with the players and kick a ball around with the players. And just so happened that day we were 2-0 down, got back to 2-1, 3-1 down, got back to 3-3. And he got in the car, and the first thing he said to his mum was, "Mum, I've lost my voice." So I think from that moment he was hooked. So there was no way I wasn't getting him up. Like so at the moment I've got some health stuff going on, nothing too serious, but I'm not allowed to fly that far.
Yeah.
Otherwise we'd have been there.
Yeah. So. Excellent. Now on the weekend you also attended another football game with your son. And that was the A-League Grand Final. Obviously, blue and white means you're Melbourne Victory fans, and Victory didn't win. Melbourne City did end up winning. But I guess, first of all, how was it? How's the experience going with your son to Amy Park?
Yeah, look, I'm a big supporter of the A-League. I like going to watch it.
Yeah.
It was interesting. We walked in and Lucas sort of turned and looked at me. He goes, "Oh, Dad, there's Billy," and sat just across the aisle was Billy Selesky and his kids as well. So had a good chat to him. Look, it wasn't a great spectacle of a game, but it was a really good atmosphere. Good to see Amy Park packed out. Not the result that we wanted, obviously, but I think there's opportunity there for Melbourne Victory to grow in the next few years. They've got a fairly young squad, especially through that midfield. A new up-and-coming coach, which is good to see, rather than just recycling old ones. I think the future looks bright. So, but at the end of the day, I've got no problems admitting I think Melbourne City were the better side on the night and deserved to win.
Yeah. No, fantastic. But well, bring that graphic up. And look, the great thing there is you're looking so resplendent in the Dinamo beanie there. So doing a great job of promoting the club. Now in Croatia, there's a fella called Paul Bradbury, and he's from the Manchester area. He's been living in Croatia for 25 years, and he does an amazing job of promoting the country and its tourism and whatnot. He's become what they call him YouTube vlogger, and they call him the Debeli Ingles. Translated means the fat Englishman, and that's his nickname. Now you do so much for Dinamo, but we can't really call you the fat Englishman. We're going to have to think of another nickname, maybe the Chelavi Ingles, which means bald Englishman.
Yeah, that'll do. I like that.
Will do. We can't call you fat, so But mate, on this, all jokes aside, on the weekend it wasn't exactly. Apart from Oldham Athletic, Victory lost. Your team, the under-19s, lost. The under-23s lost. Most of the junior boys NPL team lost. But one team won, and that was the under-17s. They defeated Brunswick Juventus 2-1. And lo and behold, you were the coach of that particular team. Tell us how that all went.
Yeah, so Nico, the usual 17s coach, he does a really good job preparing those boys. Like I've said before, bringing them through to the 19s, none of them have ever let me down. So when him and Stepan asked me if I could step in for the week, tried to rearrange a couple of things at home, and so I went to Brimbank to watch Lucas play in the 15s.
Yep.
And then got straight down to Brunswick for the 17s. So it wasn't. Look, I think it was a dominant display. We never looked like losing the game, but the effort was there, the intensity was there. The boys were having a real crack. They were facing a lot of direct football.
Yep.
And they were trying to play on a tough surface, but at times it sort of didn't always work out. So it was 0-0 at half time and sort of in the balance. And my worry was always that, well, if they get one chance, they might take it. But the boys dug in second half, switched a couple of players around. We had 3 boys from the 16s come and step up as well. All did a good job when they came in. Went 2-0 up, and then Brunswick got one towards the end. It wasn't really too nervy, so good for the boys to get a win. And special shout out to the captain, Cruz Baudou, because he said when he came to do the song at the end of the game, he goes, "Oh, this would be way better than you've ever done with the 19s," and it was.
Oh, there you go. That's brilliant. Now, it's quite ironic or coincidental, however you want to look at it, but every time we get you on the show, the previous weekend, your own team, the 19s, have lost, but last time you coached the 23s when Tuna was at a christening, they won. And this time, Nico Markovsky wasn't available, but you coached the 17s and they won, but your 19s have lost. Is there going to be a bit of a revolt at the 19s? Are they going to try and kick you out or something like that? Or maybe the 17s and the 23s are going to want you permanently?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I think the beauty of sometimes when you go in and you only do it for a week, is your voice is different to what they normally hear.
Yep.
So sometimes one of the hardest things as a coach is to try and keep things refreshed.
Yeah.
And when you get, especially with young boys, you're giving the same messages a lot. But sometimes when it's a different voice giving it, it gets heard, and sometimes it doesn't. So a bit like parenting, like somebody will tell your own kids not to do something or to do something, and they listen to someone else, and you go, "Hang on, I've been saying that for years," and they don't listen to you. So sort of along those lines, I think.
Yeah. On this weekend, big game this Friday night against the old rivals South Melbourne Hellas. You guys are kicking off at 6:15 on pitch 2, I believe. The under-19s at the same time as the 23s. So fans, get out there nice and early this Friday night. The seniors obviously kicking off at 8:30 p.m. Big game that's for sure. But Friday night game. What are you looking towards? What are you expecting from this game against the South Melbourne under-19s?
Yeah, massive. Well, massive for the whole club this weekend to try and. I mean, it's a 6-point game in the seniors.
Yeah.
It's really, really tight down there for the seniors. Good to see them get a point last week at Heidelberg, which I thought they fully deserved with the way that they dug in. 23s and 19s, we know South usually brings strong outfits. So it'll be interesting this week, given we're both playing at the same time, which I don't think has happened so far this season, 19s and 23s. So there'll be a reliance there on players stepping up from the 17s, and depending what happens with senior players dropping down to help out Tuna in the 23s. But I think South will be in the same boat. Yeah. So really good. Look, every week's an opportunity. Keep saying it to these boys. Opportunity to step up. Opportunity to take your chance and show us what you can do, whether it's for the rest of this season or looking forward to next season and beyond.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Congratulations once again to Oldham and to yourself as Australia's number one, maybe the world's number one Oldham fan outside of Oldham, and maybe a little bit of that Oldham magic will rub off on Dinamo this weekend. It would be fantastic if that was to be the case.
Yeah, let's hope so. Look, it's funny because when we were talking there at the start, and I think about my journey with Oldham, I can see lots of similarities with a lot of the players that have come through Dinamo as well. So you look at Luca Chabrea, came through. I think he's been at the club since he was 5, and now he's in the senior setup. And you just hope that other kids get that flavour at our club too in the same way. Because being at somewhere like Dinamo where there's so much passion, sort of fills that void because I'm so far away from Oldham. So nothing but love for the club.
Absolutely, and nothing but love for you, Berkey. Well done, mate. Good on you, and all the best for the weekend coming. Great chat.
Thanks, Touchy. Great to be on.
Yeah, good on you. Ian Burke, our under-19s and part-time under-23s and part-time under-17s coach and number one Oldham Athletic fan. We're going to take a break, folks, and when we return, we'll continue with tonight's episode of DinamoTV. And that, folks, brings us to the end of this week's show, this week's episode of DinamoTV. But before we do go, just a reminder about the all-important games coming up this weekend for our senior women's and our senior men's. First of all, the senior women's, they'll be playing away on Sunday at Hoskin Reserve, Sunday evening, 5:15 p.m. kickoff, when they take on 7th placed Pascoe Vale. Dinamo currently in second position. In fact, our senior women's team is our best performing team at Dinamo. So well done, girls. Keep that winning streak up. And prior to that, the big 6-pointer, the NPL Victoria Round 17 clash between St Albans Dinamo and South Melbourne, the old rival, Dinamo versus Hellas. This Friday night at Churchill Reserve, kickoff at 8:30 p.m. The under-23s and the under-19s both in action from 6:15. The 23s on the main pitch and the 19s on pitch 2. So do get around as soon as you finish work or school or whatever the case may be and come down to the club. You can get yourself a nice early dinner, watch a little bit of the junior or the under-23s and 19s in action, and then it's time for the big game. So make sure you do rug up. It's going to be a cold one, no doubt, but it is going to be, I'll tell you what, the hearts of the Dinamo faithful will certainly be warmed up if we can get all 3 points against Hellas. And that I'm sure we will. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight on DinamoTV, for being a part of tonight's show. We look forward to having your company again next Wednesday night, same time at 8 p.m. Until then, bye-bye. Good night.